and then we see on visual that they head in and they'll head for the shops. Cure 2 and the white magic. And none of the big clear out the room spells in the black magic shop. Cheap silver swords we see. That'll be handy for the red mages. And here's our first fight versus the imps. And Kaiten gets to do this the long way.
The good old 5 imps first, chance to strike first.
And based on the route Purity is taking, it looks like the move is on straight for the Temple of Fiends. And going right for Garland, in fact.
I like it.
And the break works. It's a round 1 kill against Garland. Now he will go and check those 2 treasure chests. That's very key because there's not that many places the TNT could be early on. Unless you find the crown, but generally speaking, so it's important to check these treasure chests while you're here.
Ooh, Temper in level 1. That's great. The 2 red mages.
And looks like we're having some delays with Purity's side of things.
Yeah, her stream was like paused. His stream was paused, and I saw Kaiten doing the imp battle. I was like, wait, what? Hold on. Ooh.
So now going to talk to Sarah and get the warp back. Make sure you pick up that loot. And Kaiten will make the trek up to the Temple of Fiends.
Just got to check those chests, see what goods are available to him. Purity also going to check the chests now.
Okay, I seem to be watching Purity at a little bit faster pace than everyone, so I'll try and slow my reactions down a little bit, see if we can't balance that out a little better. But Purity will stock up on some supplies and then head to the Bridge of Text. So a little bit of background here while we have a minute. Purity is a pretty new runner to Final Fantasy I and mainly does casual streaming, does some Zelda 1 randomizer, used to run Wing Commander, hasn't really played Final Fantasy I in about 10 years, and says this is only about the 5th randomizer race. So jumped right into the tournament without a lot of background, but representing well so far. Kaiten, meanwhile, a little more speedrunning experience, used to run DuckTales, and currently speedrunning Final Fantasy Star 4. Streams random and casual games, and is streaming from the Philippines, so Not sure how many Asian players we do have in the tournament, but Kaiten here to represent.
Kaiten picks up the silver sword and gives it to his red mage. Interesting choice there. He's going to do a little shopping, pick up a couple cabins, some heals. Purity is also shopping, seeing if she has anything available to her. God, that's an awful armor shop. Iron, shield, and cloth, and that's all.
Well, one of the things I have found in my runs is under-equipped going into the final dungeon has been my continuous story.
Both crossing the bridge of Nasir, Kaiten is going to cabin. That's an interesting spot to cabin. And she's going to go up and check Matoya's cave. We'll see if Purity takes the same route or goes right to Provoca.
And this is one of the early places where you see some different routes from different runners. Some like to go straight for the cave, check those free treasure chests. Others like to go get the ship first and then sail there. And I believe by now you should have seen the Thor's Hammer pick up, so that is a very useful item which will let the user cast Lightning 2 on the enemy party.
That's a big pickup. Especially with no early clear options for the mages. Be nice to give to your white mage so she can assist with the killing if she doesn't pick Fate up early, and the creeps are hitting like trucks. And have paralysis. Ooh, this is not looking good for Purity. Kaiten is also gets away.
Sometimes running away is the best option you have available to you. Both runners with the Thor's Hammer now.
So we have my favorite, the Red Mage taking a dirt nap. One of the best sites in the Final Fantasy Randomizer. And these players are, if this is me in their situation, I'm praying that this armor shop has a chain armor or a wood armor, because the pirates can do some work on unarmored at what are they? Light warriors.
Well, we see the white magic shop in Provoca having the Invis 2 spell, which is a very good one to pick up early for your white mage. And possibly red mage.
And only fire. This is rough.
Well, they both have Thor's Hammer, so for the pirates, that'll be plenty to kill both of them as long as you get it off and they don't have anything crazy to stop you.
Yeah, let's hope no death touch, petrification, pirates. And Purity, look, did Purity wipe? How did she is way back at where she started?
I think we've got a significant lag on Purity right now. I'm watching a different feed, so I've got Purity already entering the Pirates battle. But it doesn't look like anything crazy out of the Pirates, so Kaiten took care of business. And Purity will soon follow. just take a moment to explain a strategy you're seeing these runners use, which is the saves on the overworld. They're buying a lot of tents for this. When you restart the game, you'll get a different enemy set than you would otherwise, so it can be a different number of steps. So if you don't like the first encounter you see, you can reset, load from that save, and get something different than you did the last time.
The encounter rates on the water are different from the overworld and the dungeons. There's far less encounters on the ocean, but there's no RNG shuffle, so the encounters are going to come at a rate of like every 15 to 7 steps, depending on where they are in the step cycle.
So Kaiten has opted for the option to head to the Dwarf Cave, 2 free treasure chests there, before going down to see the elves. Now, both runners on their stream do have the SRL time going, so they started at the same time. It's not showing on the streams. That makes it a little harder to see the disparity between them right now. But it makes it look like Purity is about a minute behind, but they did start at the same time. So I'm just trying to back up a little bit and not be too far ahead of the game.
Kaiten is walking around Elfland looking at the magic shops, currently in the level 4. Has Heal and Life as pickups, and Fog 2 if you fancy that. And walks over to the black magic shop and has nice options, Lit 3 and Fast. Good pickups for your black mage and your red mage.
Fast, one of my very favorite buffs to use. It's been super helpful to me in my runs of the game. And also, it's important to note that Elfland actually represents 1/4 of the magic you're going to get for the game. 1 out of every 4 spells is in this town, so you always want to check the shops here.
And Purity, not opting to save at the tent by the tip of Corneria, is just going to walk to the Dwarf Cave, so if these 2 chests contain bad choices, then this could be a little bit of a time loss for them. Kaiten finally buys his first 2 pieces of armor. Chainmails are good starter chest pieces for your fighters. Ooh, Saber and 10k gold. That's not great, but not terrible. Could be worse.
So not having found the TNT or the crown yet, we'll expect to see both runners make their way over to the Marsh Cave and start digging in there.
Marsh Cave, notorious for the 90% ambush shadow encounter. Let's hope they don't have anything disgusting.
And Purity got hit with stone, which only 2 softs in inventory might make you think about having to go shopping.
It's always risky. Soft can be super expensive at the early part of the game, and if you don't get one of the super heavy, like 65k gold chests, you could be scrapping for cash. The sharks have stone? That's so disgusting.
Okay, I've got a little better sense now of how far ahead things are, so hopefully I'll be able to adjust a little bit better and try and keep this in real time. It's one of those things that happens with Twitch. Somebody has a bit of a delay, and then you're watching the stream back behind, but I've got it caught up personally, so we'll just try and adjust.
Zombie Ghoul here for Kaiten, and they don't have anything crazy, thank you. This is when you go into Marsh Cave and you get these ghoul zombie and shadows and the scorpions, you're always hoping, please no, nothing crazy. Ooh, chance to strike first with a 7 mob encounter. That's nice. Kaiten not taking. Do you want to explain the safe squares in the dungeons and the just the dungeons, because there's only a few in the overworld?
Well, we'll do that. I also want to touch on the treasure chests you saw him go for. He went to the north of the cave first. And apparently I put in one of the links wrong. I apologize for that. Somebody picked me up. Thank you. Splitting Munt. Not sure. I apologize for butchering that. But you'll see Kaiten now skip treasure chests because these are mirrored. You can either get the ones to the north or you can get these. So if you're used to those empty treasure chests, they were actually treasures that were in multiple locations. You could have opened either one. So he went to the north first because that was faster. Back to what you were saying about the safe spaces, there's these tiles alongside the wall by the door where you won't get a random encounter. And there's the crown. Hopefully I'm not too far ahead. I think I'm about a battle ahead, but you'll see that come up shortly for Kaiten in this first room.
It's a nice pickup. Now you have your first key item. You have to make the decision. Do you finish clearing? There's about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more chests in this room, and awful encounters.
Well, you still have that Thor's hammer to help with the encounters. I think you got to finish when you're here because you would hate to have to come back.
No doubt about that. This is, I guess they're going to take the wizard fight. This is going to be close with no armor on the mages and only chainmail on your red mage. Anybody here is liable to get one shot by the wizards. Especially at this low level. He's only level 6. But 2 wizards, that's good.
So let's talk about a little strategy play from Purity, moving that black belt back, but to the back of the formation to try and protect the damage dealing.
And wizards rolled really high on their health. They have over 92. But Fire 3 and the Thor Hammer make quick work of them.
And there's your great reward for killing those wizards. A little bit of gold.
I think the only way that feels worse is if that's 10.
Nevertheless, you have to do it because there's just as much chance of that as there is it being the floater.
And Purity feeling the wrath of the scorpions as they've dropped 2, 3, and Derp can't run, and it's going to be a wipe.
Just unfortunate, but part of the way it can go. That's why you better save as frequently as you can.
This is one thing I've started to prioritize is checking those armor shops in the first 3 towns, because a little bit is better than nothing. If you can buy even just copper bracers for your mages, you're way ahead of the game.
Very much so. I'll also do that for weapons from my fighter personally. If all I can put is a dagger on them, I still will, just to help their hitting chances. As Kaiten's going to go have a talk with our favorite Dark Elf.
So finding the crown first means we could have the optional lazy dwarfs just deciding not to open up the locked door and get the TNT out of the room themselves. Now it could be in Temple of Fiends. In the right side, there are 3 locked chests behind a Mystic Key doors, and there are 6 in Corneria, 3 in Astos' castle, and 4 in Elfland Castle. So got a lot of searching, guessing. This is where a gamble could pay off.
The route that a runner chooses can make such a difference at this point, as Kaiten's going to see that Rub was not one of the things shuffled, of course. That's a spell, not a skill. So Astos was able to successfully hit the fighter with it.
Ace taken in Dirtnap. Kaiten has gone for the Gyre Fiesel Ace Bill Caldan strats. And Kaiten's gonna need a kill here soon. Astos is cast fast. Fire 2, Lit 2 are coming up next.
And there's the Terminated, the big experience reward. You already technically have the crystal.
8 health, 4 health, 23 health, Dirtnap.
And meanwhile, Purity back in the Marsh Cave finishing up the dig. And looks like Kaiten didn't heal back in the Temple of Fiends after the fight. Or, yeah, he didn't save after it either. That's unfortunate.
Uh-oh.
It's not a huge time loss, but whenever you're racing, any loss you take is going to feel huge at the time.
I think at this point, if Purity has a house, they need to grind a little bit to get a level or 2, and if he wipes again. Opting to not go up top, or did they go up top? And they were checking the chest. The 3 and the 4. Oh, there's 3 there. 3 in the middle room are in the top and the bottom floor. So if you check the top floor, you have no reason to check floor 2B because everything's in the bottom floor.
Well, this time Kaiten's going to have a little better result against Astos. And gets level 8 out of it as well.
And no save again.
So meanwhile, Purity has picked up the crown and still finishing the dig in the Marsh Cave. And Kaiten will move on to continue the work on the Crown Saga to be able to get the Mystic Key. The classic RPG, give this person that thing to get the other thing to get to the house that Jack built. Kaiten did go up to Mayoda's cave earlier, so already aware of what treasures are there. But now,
give her eye back. Get the herb and go wake the really lazy, sleepy Prince of Elfland.
And then it'll be a mad dash for the locked treasure chests. Now here's the interesting question to me. You're obviously going to go for the easy treasure chests to access, being Elfland, the Cornelia, and the dwarfs. Do you go back to the Marsh Cave and hunt for those treasures? Do you go to Astos Castle and hunt for those treasures at this point?
I think you go Elfland, Cornelia, Dwarf. If it's not there, I would go TOF because it's, you're right there by Cornelia. It's the quickest. And then I'm probably going Astos. I'm not going back to the Marsh Cave if I don't have to.
And you're far from alone there. I don't think many runners want to deal with the Marsh Cave if they don't have to.
So we see Kaiten giving some love to the prince, who gives him the mystic key. And the prince is lazy. He does not want to wake up, so he continues to just take a nap.
So we've seen Purity have a lot of trouble here in the Marsh Cave, and might already be seeing the differences in the party choices in not having that knight that fighter to sit up front and be a damage sponge for the mages.
But he makes it out, makes his trek to Astos, maybe?
Well, does he have life 1 or life 2?
I'm not sure. He's got 2 dead party members, so I'm wondering if he's waiting to get up there, or...
Of course, the difference being if the red mage has life, he might go to Astos straight away. If he doesn't, then it has to be a trip back to Elfland to revive the party members at the clinic.
Kaiten taking a big mob of wolves. It's very common in the early game. If you get a pack of 7 or 8 mobs to take the fight, it's really good experience. If you have a full clear AoE ability, it's even better. And we're going to see Purity try the Astos fight with only 2 party members.
That is a very interesting choice.
And the black belt gets rubbed.
Well, we seem to be back on the same pace with this now, so that's going to make things a little bit easier. But now takes the reset and going to revive the party members at Elfland, it looks like. And Kaiten looks like has opted to go back to Astos' castle with the Mystic Key to check those treasure chests since it was the shortest walk from Elfland.
That's interesting. I wonder if he's going to also go to Marsh first. Ooh, not aware if the trap tile takes the encounter. The images have stun lock. This could get ugly.
Does get away, and now he will stick to the side. There's the big gold reward and the Vorpal.
Ooh, that's a good almost 70k in gold, and arguably the 3rd or 4th best weapon for your knight / red mage, with pretty good damage stat, really good hit percentage, and very, very strong crit rate for this version of the game.
So let's touch on this real fast. Right now, the game's moving at a pretty linear pace, and it's a little bit difficult. It's pretty easy to tell who's ahead of who at this stage. But after we get the TNT, the world is going to open up, and we'll probably see the runners take very different routes. And then it'll be very difficult, in fact, to tell who's in the lead, because I've learned no matter what you think, until you get to about Tiamat, you're just not sure.
That's the truth. You can do, after you get the TNT, you open the canal, and basically the world is your oyster. You can go to, most players will opt to go to Crescent Lake, get the canoe, go to Volcano, or maybe Ice Cave if they're feeling really in the gambling mood.
Well, we talked about this when we were waiting on the race to get started. Ice Cave in round 1 is not incentivized. That doesn't mean there won't be an important treasure there. That just means there isn't one forced there. There's the TNT. Pretty close to its vanilla location, in fact.
That's right, just one chest to the left.
And a gold bracelet.
Gold bracelet. And he also picked up the light axe, which is has the ability to cast harm 2 and will be very, very nice to aid. He doesn't have any. They do have fire 3, so, but the light axe will be a nice option. It's very good on the fighter. Probably his best weapon right now. Maybe a little worse than the silver swords.
Well, it's also going to be fantastic in undead fights when you can drop the harm spell on everybody. For undeads now, you're sitting there with the option to drop the harm and lightning 2 on people right away, and probably going to clear out most rooms full of undead.
Harm 2 is harm. I mean, all the harm spells are very underappreciated. I think. See, it's often kind of overlooked for other spells, but when you're the white mage, undead is your specialty, and if you get harm 4 early, as we just saw Kaiten pick up the mass immune, so he's got a very happy fighter.
And he'll put that silver. I'm sorry, back up. He's pretty well set now on his weapons, because with the mages, you're much more worried about their magic than you are their weapons. So he's got the best sword in the game for his fighter. Obviously not the best for a red mage, red wizard, but if you're dealing with a silver sword, you're going to be in pretty good shape for most of the time you'd be meleeing.
That's right. Silver sword, the best buyable weapon in the game. I would not even mind seeing him put the light axe on Ace and give the red mage the mass immune. I think overall it would be a larger damage increase to his physical capabilities.
Well, I think there's no question if he ends up with Excalibur that we'll see Mass Immune move to the red mage. As he'll get over to Melmond. And he'll find Fade there, as well as Heal 3.
It's gonna, I believe, need the class change to get Fade on the red mage. And getting body blocked by the NPCs. Kaiten is making his way up, not Kaiten, Purity making his way up to the Matoya's cave. Gonna get the eye to trade in for that herb.
So as we're about 30 minutes into this, let's talk about what our key items have been so far. Both runners found the crown in the Marsh Cave, and I believe both have now... No, I'm sorry. Purity is finishing up the Mystic Key quest, so hasn't had a chance to get the TNT yet. So those are the required items for the plot. One of the most helpful items, of course, is the Mass Immune, and Kaiten was able to pick that up in the Dwarf Cave.
Yep, they've been as far as the weapons and armor, with the exception of the Mass Immune and the gold bracelet, the finds haven't been too epic. 3 out of the, let's say, 37 or so chests that they've opened have contained good quality kind of stuff you want to see, the the top tier items.
So now Kaiten is on the trek to Crescent Lake, hoping to get the canoe.
He wants to go visit those old men doing yoga in the park.
They'll stop just long enough to give you the canoe.
So we'll see if Purity decides to go to Astos first, or if she's going to just diverge and take the standard Elfland, Corneria, Dwarf Cave route.
Well, the good news is with both those major items we saw being in places you would always go to and check, as I have to go back in to check the elf treasure chests. It's definitely not going to be missed, but it's a question of will you save the time by going straight to those places? And there are treasure chests we haven't seen yet, so for all we know, there's still an important item in one of them.
That's true. Kaiten has 3 left to unlock in this part of the world, and it looks like Purity is going to opt out of going to the Astos castle. It's going to go straight to Corneria and grab these 6 here. He will find the TNT and be very happy.
So that will help close the gap with where the runners are at this point. And we're going to find out shortly what Kaiten is thinking for where to go next. You've got 3 major choices as it stands. You could go back to the Earth Cave, the downside being without the ruby and without the floater, you're not sure you can finish it yet. You can go to Gurgu Volcano, which is what I think you'll see most runners throughout this tournament do. Come back to that. And the third option is to go to the Ice Cave. But since we didn't see Kaiten go back for the ship, he is definitely going for the Gurgu Volcano at this point.
Think of the 3, the 4. I mean, if you want to throw ordeals in there, you have 4 options. Volcano has the most chests, and Volcano has a lot of chests condensed right on that first floor as you get in. Probably the best option. It also has arguably the best grind spot in the round 1 flags with the Agamas. Safe choice, I think. The one thing about the Volcano, though, is the random encounters can be really, really bad. There are some awful, awful monsters awaiting them here.
Purity, meanwhile, is in the Dwarf Cave and gonna go see Narek, and poor Narek, after that TNT incident, just was never seen again.
How Purity is a murderer.
And Purity, working through these treasure chests, is about to be one very happy runner.
So when you go through Volcano, I've noticed some people do what Kaiten's doing. You go into the second door and pick up those 5 chests before going into the large cluster, and then I see others go into the third door and gather the large cluster of chests first. Which way do you prefer to do it?
I am usually one who I hate to backtrack. I hate to take extra steps. So I'll take those ones that are closest to me and work my way over to the big group. And meanwhile, Kaiten gonna get level 10 off of that fight. Worth noting at this point that there are certain fights in the game that you cannot run from. And the short answer is, if it's one of the elementals, expect that they're not going to be able to run from it. So these fires, they will not be able to run from. When we're in the Earth Cave, they won't be able to run from the Earths. When they're in the Sea Shrine, they will not be able to run from the waters. And of course, just to break the system, you can run from the airs.
Kaiten gets very, very lucky. Perilous, an awful encounter in Volcano, but missed and picks up the Sun Sword. Happy, joy.
Very good sword, very happy to have it. If Kaiten doesn't get another weapon for the rest of the game, I assure you, he is going to be happy. So Purity finishing up magic shopping in Melmon now, and then expect to see them take their way over to Crescent Lake.
Heal Helm was a pickup in Dwarf Cave, I believe, which casts Heal 1 on your party. It's a good, not a bad item. The intelligence statistic does not work in this game, so everything just heals for a raw value. There's no scaling as the game goes on later, as in with some of the remakes. So the fighter using the Heal Helm has the same value as the wizard does.
So the other big thing we didn't talk about with the volcano yet is, of course, the lava. And anybody who's run this game is going to be familiar with the idea that when you're walking on the lava, you are not going to be getting encounters. So you're going to see a lot of walking on the lava. Of course, the downside, you're going to take damage. So I think we'll see a lot of usage out of that heal helmet while Kaiten is in the volcano to help recover some of that damage.
Very, very smart. The dang, I lost my thought.
Well, we're seeing the biggest cache of treasure chest here and a pro cape found so far. Opal bracelet now, so that's used very good if you get the class change, and the ruby. So the ruby means that the earth cave is in play. You still might look for the floater first, but ruby now means that you can complete the earth cave.
Yep, the Pro Cape is a nice pickup for your mage. It's an 8 absorb shield. The only other option for the no other option for the black and the red mage, with the black and the white. The red mage can purchase the buckler, but it only has two defense as opposed to the 8 of the Pro Cape. So that's a nice top tier pickup for their mages.
And Kaiten going to use the exit strategy, which allows you to save your progress after getting all that treasure and some things you definitely want to save getting. Also restores the magic. He leveled once or twice in this cave, so he's going to be able to get those spell slots refreshed and available to him. And then he'll continue on the grind, skipping the treasure rooms that he had to navigate before, so it's a faster walk.
I believe you need level 12 on your red mage, your black and white mages to have level 5 magic. Kaiten a little sad he doesn't have a heal 3 charge yet on Cal, but it's going to burn some of these other Gear 2 charges, get his party back up.
So we talked about you can't run from the fires here in Gurgu. The other things you can't run from is a mix of the Cerebrus and the Wizard Ogre, and you also won't be able to run from a mix of the Fire Giants and... No, I'm sorry, that's Frost Giants. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I thought you were dropping knowledge bomb on me. I was like, wait, what? There's another one? Just the fires and the Wizard Ogre Cerebrus, which I never knew that wasn't unrunnable until I encountered it, of all places, over by Onrock. So Kaiten's going to go around, pick up the slew of treasure chests here on the 4th floor, sorry. Picks up the Wear Sword, not a huge improvement.
And Purity looks like is going to make the same decision to go to Gurgu Volcano. So in this case, we're seeing both runners take the same route so far.
And Kaiten picking up my favorite item in the game, the Ice Shield.
Care to elaborate why it's your favorite?
So the ice shield is the first armor that you can get that offers you protection against paralysis. So he will be his fighter will have a much less chance of getting paralyzed or stun locked than the rest of his party. which is good to help him run.
So we mentioned briefly that some runners will take a different route to collect the treasure chests in here, and we're going to see that out of Purity, who goes right for the big room of chests. And we'll also probably be reasonably happy about finding the ruby, which means that you can go to Earth Cave. You have that option. Doesn't mean that they will, but it is available, and it's always good to have options.
So if you don't find Floater here, where do you think? Where do you gamble? I guess is the best way to put it, because you're basically putting your luck on: is it in Earth Cave, is it in Ordeals, or is it in the Ice Cavern?
Well, I tell you, I am a fan of do what's required first, and then if you can skip the optional stuff, that's a time save. So from here, if I don't have Floater, that Earth Cave looks really tempting because I know I have to go beat it anyways. And if I don't have all of the required items at that point, if I'm still missing Slab, I'm going to have to dig the whole dungeon anyways. So it's, in most cases, going to be no worse off.
I second that notion. Purity, not realizing that there's a trap tile on that square, and takes the fire elemental encounter twice. Now going back up for the 5 other chests in this room, probably will exit, save, and continue. What is your opinion? Do you think the either player is going to sit here and grind on the Agamas at all, or will both just get out of here and get on their merry way?
Well, we're seeing a little bit out of it from Kaiten now, it looks like, and not sure how high that will go. Some runners will stop at 18 if this is their strategy. Being only level 12, that's pretty low, so when you've got one of the best grinding spots in the game, I gotta figure at least level 15, as long as you aren't seeing anything crazy out of the Agamas.
Yeah, I think with this seed and the small percentage of variation from their base stats, going much higher than 18 is probably a time loss at this save. Like the round 1 flags, I like to try to finish around level 23, 24-ish, maybe.
Well, and the other thing that can certainly vary your strategy is the equipment that you have, and we should note both players have the Moss Immune.
Oh
so,
no, poor kitty. Oh no.
And that fire too looks like it's going to be very brutal.
Just one of the many awful things you have waiting. Like, watching the round 1 flags really makes me appreciate the script shuffles and the spell shuffles, because it can make some of these horrible encounters a little more bearable.
Well, let's go ahead and point out a difference in strategy that we just saw in action. Kaiten, after picking up all the treasure on this floor, exited out of the volcano and saved. Purity did not do that, so unfortunately that wipe means also getting all those treasure chests over again.
I believe Purity wiped going to get the second set of 5. And this is the risk you take. Volcano is so unforgiving.
Well, that time, Purity is going to exit and save with the ruby. As my stream has locked up, so I'm going to try restarting it here. But meanwhile, we are seeing Kaiten grinding a little against those Agamas.
I like it. Agama is super, super safe in the round 1 flags. Unless they have petrification or death touch, there's not going to be too much harm or foul in grinding here.
And also with that Masamune, they're going to be able to do quite a bit of melee damage. That can be the other big thing, is you need something to be able to grind them with. So it helps if you got one of those big swords that you can use to deal a lot of damage.
Yes, trying to grind Agamas with silver daggers, not too fun. Not too fun at all. So I'm curious to see how long Kaiten's going to grind and to what level he takes it. Like I said earlier, I think 18 is about the max. I wonder if he's going to maybe kill off some party members and power level the fighter single-handedly. As we see, Purity has also finally picked up the Sun Sword, so he too has Masamune Sun Sword and has happy red mages.
All right, well, I was able to get my streams back up here, so able to see the action again, and that's nice. But that is the one unfortunate thing the Agamas can do to you, is if they are able to stun you and you've got one person you're counting on to deal the damage, that can mess up your day.
This is the one difficult thing about these flags is the shuffled status application attacks of the enemies. I mean, you can run into crazy stuff.
All right, so taking a look at where we are now as we're approaching the 1 hour mark with neither runner having one of the orbs, as a runner yourself, would you think you're on par? Would you think you're behind? What would start going through your mind at this stage of the game?
If I'm Purity, I'm probably feeling like I'm a little behind because you had so much trouble in Marsh Cave. And if I'm Kaiten, you don't know what's going on with your other runner, but you're probably betting, I haven't wiped yet. You've got the fighter. You probably have a little stronger defense, and you're wondering how far can you push this Agama grind, or what kind of advantage you can get. And it looks like he stopped around 18, like you had said, which would be good. His fighter will be nice and strong, and through random encounters, she should be able to get to like 25, 26 by the end of the game.
And it'll be interesting to see if we see Purity target that same number or a different number. With the black belt, we might actually start to see some power leveling of the black belt, where maybe those red mages get put up front to get killed off, and then work on just getting the black belt leveled up to a higher level.
And Kaiten's going to take a huge risk here and actually fight the red dragon and one shot.
Well, it does help to have the Masamune. It's not required, but it does help.
Red dragon trying to kill. Ooh, ice. Oh, he doesn't take it. I think that's a mistake. Ice armor. I get what else can he have? Ice armor is the best.
He already has flame armor.
Let me look.
Which
before
I do
open
believe
my
ice
mouth.
is slightly better, but I don't think it's a huge difference. I'm doing that from memory, so I am subject to being wrong. And we're going to get ready to see Carrie for the first time. It'll be our first Fiend of the Elements. Kaiten heals up because you'd hate to have somebody die just because you didn't top off their life. And here we go.
Yes, I'm curious to see if what Ace's armor is. If he doesn't have the flame armor, there might be a slight mistake.
So So the Invisible 2 cast to raise the defense. Carrie's going to launch a Fire 2 right away. Bill's not going to like that. But a big hit with the Monster Immune for over 400 damage.
Temper is good.
And 600 damage, so over 1,000 damage between 2 strikes with the Monster Immune. Gotta love it. We have our first orb restored.
Carrie has been flambéed, however you pronounce it in your country. And Kaiten will now go whisk away, but we did not find a floater. So now here's where, do we gamble? Do we check Ice Cavern? Do we go to Earth Cave and clear that out, get 2 orbs through, and pray that it's there?
Well, let's state the advantages for both dungeons. If you go to Ice Cave, it's closer to where you are now. So there's less travel on the world map, and that is certainly a time save. It's got a lot of treasure chests, so there is a very good chance that there is a good item in there. Even if not one of the required items, might be a very good one. And you've got the Eye if you wanted to maybe top off a little bit more in your levels, but I think he got all he wanted out of the Agamas, so probably won't do that strategy.
The downside to picking Ice Cave first is Blue Dragon trap tiles, Frost Wolf trap tiles, and the Frost Giant, Frost Wolf unrunnable. They have their standard vanilla skill script, so Blue D is going to do Blizzard, and the Frost Wolves are going to do Frost, and they can hurt. They can hurt a lot.
And Purity's going to heal up before fighting the Red Dragon. And we're getting very close to seeing Purity relight the first orb, so we would assume, but assuming's usually a bad idea in the randomizer.
Also one shot by Herb, taking him down. Picks up the ice armor. Nice little selling piece there.
So I said we were going to talk about the advantages of both locations, as we see Kaiten is going to commit to the Ice Cave for now. The advantage of the Earth Cave is you have to do it anyways. It's got one of the 4 orbs, so you're going to have to go there. Whereas the Ice Cave, you might be able to skip it. So that's the biggest advantage to that, but Kaiten will opt for the Ice Cave.
I feel like the Earth Cave potentially could be the easiest of the four Fiend dungeons. It doesn't. Bad
luck going here for Purity.
Oh no, not again! Purity, please.
And that was on the final floor too. Would have been going to carry at that point. So going to have to rescale the tower, or volcano, as the case may be.
And if I saw it, he's only level 11, so he lost 4 levels worth of experience. He had just hit 15 before that bull encounter.
Yeah, did not stop to fight the Agamas particularly, which could have gained some time back. Not that Purity knows they're behind at this point, although after that wipe you'd have to wonder. And are we going to see the warp strat from Kaiten?
I'm doing the warp strat. I'm dodging the eye. The eye is too good in this seed. Mage misses with rub. Happy Kaiten.
So since we brought up the warp strat, do you want to explain what it is?
So the warp spell returns you to the last floor that you've come from, and these tiles, what is that, brown? The brown circles you're going to drop into to go down to the next floor. The game recognizes that as a stair, so you can fall down the tile, warp, and grab both of those treasure chests without having to fight the eye. And then you don't have to traverse this floor a second time.
Well, Purity returns to Carrie's floor and opts to skip fighting Red Dragon or Agmas and just going to go straight for the Fiend. I feel like that's a playing behind strat. Like, you think you're at a deficit.
This is really risky. He's only level 12. This is going to be close.
Gonna use those Invis 2s, so gonna try and build the defense up front.
I like this. Also puts wall on his Mass Beam Holder to gain and protect. Shaw! Gotta get one tapped.
Well, that might force Purity into a little bit more grinding. We'll see. This is not over. But it's sure not good.
I don't know if more grinding was going to stop that slap in the face. 301 to the mouth. Carrie is not playing around. 153 through 2 Invises too. Invis 2 gives you an increase of 40 evade to your entire party. Half the value of the Roost spell, which gives you 80.
Kaiten, meanwhile, continues to grind the ice cave. I haven't seen any key items yet. By key items, I mean the ones that are required to advance in the game. So at this point, we'd be looking for the slab, we'd be looking for the floater.
Kaiten's really hoping the floater's in here. If the floater's here and Purity goes to Earth Cave to find out that it's not there, Kaiten will have a very, very sizable lead. But not in those 6 chests. Let's see. He's got 1, 2, 3, 5 more to go. If Purity goes straight to Earth Cave, the race is basically tied back up.
Bunch of wizards, and you never want to see them particularly.
No, especially if they have stun.
In this case, just the poison, but should have plenty of pures to deal with that. Using Fade to clear out the room, so 6 of them, almost 3,000 experience. Meanwhile, Derp fighting the good fight against Carrie. Purity has not gone down yet.
Super advanced high-tech strats of hold the A button and takes Carrie down.
Got it!
Derp, the hero that we all deserve, picks up almost 13k experience for himself.
We want to see both runners do well, so it's good to see that Purity will not have to redo the volcano a 3rd time. Meanwhile, here's the eye. Kaiten takes care of business there with nothing major and getting to level 19, and let's see what this treasure holds.
Dun, dun, dun.
And just a house is not quite what you were hoping to see. So I saw no key items in the ice cave. Chat, help me out. Did we see any major useful items in there?
Just a house. So here's Purity's chance to get back in. If he elects to go to Earth Cave first, the race has become substantially closer. But if he too ventures to the ice cave, Kaiten will keep his lead.
Kaiten will also have quite a bit of a level advantage at this stage of the game. An hour in to only be in the low double digits. I think most of us would want to hopefully be a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, Kaiten is essentially 7 levels ahead right now.
So now will we see... Well, I think we're seeing what Kaiten's strategy is, and it looks to be to go to the Earth Cave. So
Yeah.
I say that he'll actually do Titan's Cave first.
Ordeals is a super, super gigantic risk. Sailing the wrong way.
Well, he's got to go to the south port of Elfland, I believe. No, I'm sorry, that won't help.
Nope.
He's going to
Melmond. And we will see yes, Purity going to Earth Cave as well.
So that will tighten things up. The level advantage will be real for Kaiten. Probably will be able to clear Earth Cave faster. But the levels, the experience in Earth Cave will be valuable for Purity and help make up for the experience lost in Gurgu.
Yeah, you're going to see Purity take a few more encounters up to level 15 now, so quickly closing that gap. But
and
definitely
again, since it's been an hour since we talked about some of the randomizer features, let's mention that one of the things that our runners are dealing with, every battle is giving 5 times its normal experience plus an additional 500. So that's why you might be seeing much larger values for these fights than you're used to seeing.
Yes, imps in the vanilla version do not give 1,400 experience for a pack of 5. Though that would be nice. It would make speedrunning the game much easier.
Our first look at the Titan Cave says those 4 treasure chests don't hold anything of great value.
Wow, 10,000 gold and a heal potion. That sucks.
Yeah, you're also getting 5 times the gold as well as the experience, so that starts to pile up really quickly.
So have you ever had the ruby, no floater, and got into Earth Cave anyway?
Well, it's one of those things, if you do enough runs, you're going to have it. It's just inevitable. I've certainly had seeds where an hour plus into it, I'm still looking for the floater. I had one time, it was in the bottom marsh cave, the very last treasure chest that I could open using the Mystic Key. So I dug everything else before that treasure chest, only to find the floater there, in the very last possible spot it could be.
That's disgusting.
It's a game of percentages, so if you play it long enough, you're gonna see everything. As Purity now is going to come down and get the rod. We need the rod to be able to break the plate after the vampire, because apparently no one's strong enough to pick it up.
That 3.5-inch floppy disk is way too good. The one thing I've noticed, both players have made this mistake, is picking up a key item, whether it be the TNT, the crown, or here in Purity's instance, just picked up the rod, and you should save once you get back into the overworld. Because heaven forbid you wipe. If her last save was before Earth Cave, or at the volcano, or even at Crescent Lake, it's a big time loss.
So let's go back a little bit to the biography of both of these players, and not to get into their life stories or anything, but I believe both of these players are still relatively new to the Final Fantasy I randomizer, which I am as well. To full disclosure here, I've played the vanilla game a ton, but I've only known the randomizer for about 3 weeks myself. Purity, this is only about their 5th or 6th run. in the randomizer at all. And I don't know how many it's been for Kaiten, but I still don't think that he has done that many so far.
I know Kaiten has been grinding offline, online. As you said before, he's from the Philippines, so being able to race with us, it's a little hard for him. But I know he is constantly in the Discord talking about offline runs he's doing. He's been practicing a lot. I've raced with him one time, and I believe he smoked my pants. So, these offline grinders, they're no joke. And we've got a few of them that I think there are going to be some surprises in this tournament.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like we've seen any major time losses out of the runners. I mean, Purity has done a great job of coming back from those deaths in Gurgu, and we're going to see both of them have to dig out the Earth Cave at this point. Their biggest item they're looking for now is the floater. They also want to find the slab, which is the next required plot item.
Well, they know. Kaiten knows if the floater's not here, it's only in one place. So again, they could get through this at the same time. And Kaiten has a slight edge because he knows it's in Ordeals where Kitty is not sure and has to play the guessing game.
Well, let's back up because there is one place that Kaiten did not grind. And I just talked about where I found the floater that one unfortunate time down in the bottom of the Marsh Cave.
That's true, but are you going to take... So there's 3 chests there. There's about 14 in Ice Cave and 10 in Ordeals. Is it 10?
There it is.
8.
So that argument is mute. Oh, and the Opal Bracelet.
Huge pickup. Best defensive option for any of Kaiten's mages.
And Czar giving us a link to the Discord. Whatever your skill level, if you find the FF1 randomizer interesting at all, I strongly advise joining the Discord. You'll find all kinds of help available to you. It does not matter your level. I've never seen anybody attacked for a question. You're just going to find a friendly community that loves to embrace somebody new coming in and trying out the FF1 randomizer.
We've all been the new guy.
Some of us very recently.
Hey, I'm new too. I've only got about 14 races under my belt. But when I started, so Kapabesh got me into the community. He's like, man, you got to try this. And I watched Sho Fukumaru do a couple races, and I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. And I don't know, probably my first 4 races, I was like, God, I hate this thing. I just want to go back to speedrunning vanilla. But now that I've got some positive results, I haven't won any races, but there have been some times where I've competed with the big dogs in the community. Feels good, man. Feels good.
Speaking of feels good, Purity going to pick up the floater, and that's certainly going to feel good.
These races, this is a close one. I was fortunate enough to cast the inaugural race this morning between Artea and Bratster, and that race was insanely close. You guys have to check that VOD out.
Great race, not to give too much of it away, but if I'm correct on this, both of them were against Tiamat 2 at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, it
not
was...
saying to the second, but just saying they were both in the fight at the same time.
That was a super... And the funny part is we interviewed them after, and they were like, man, I felt like I was really far behind. And we were like, yeah, joke's on you. This race was bananas close through and through. There was probably 4 or 5, maybe even 6 lead changes the whole time through. You guys check out that VOD. It's awesome.
And that was over on speedrunning.
Did Do the bulls have like death touch? What happened to poor Derp? I'm watching the wrong stream. Whoops.
Yeah, I've got everybody alive at this point on both teams.
I keep forgetting on the channel she's Purity's a little far further behind than the other one.
So speaking of what you're feeling versus what's actually happening, I'm not going to put thoughts in someone's head, but Purity has had a couple of party wipeouts, which I know if I experienced that, I wouldn't be feeling too good about my run. And I probably wouldn't think I was on the same dungeon and on the same floor, or at least very close in the same dungeon at the same pace as the runner I'm against. So anytime you're going to do these, take it as a lesson. Just finish what you're doing.
Hey, I'm with you there. If I'm Purity, I'm not feeling good about this. That's the beauty of the randomizer. Like you don't know. You could be feeling terrible, and the partner, your opponents, can be having just as bad of a time.
And that's the great equalizer. Sometimes there's just going to be something that's sitting in the way that will change everything. And we had a great run. In fact, if I'm recalling correctly, were you in this one about a week ago on Speed Gaming, where Tiamat 2 was the real final boss of the game?
Let's not talk about that. let's not relive this nightmare again, please.
It was an ugly one, but every runner got to go in and see Tiamat before anyone was able to clear it, and I'll leave it at that.
Some of them got to do Temple of Fiends Revisited for about an hour and a half before I even got there.
Okay, so we're going to see our first look at the vampire now. Well, minor delay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Kaiten gonna back up and fight some wizards.
Kaiten didn't forget the rod, did he?
I don't believe so, because I remember he got to the Titan's Cave first and checked those treasure chests.
Good old poison wizards. Gotta love them.
Okay, I think what we might be seeing here, and I don't know enough about Kaiten to know if he's one of the players who would do this, is counting the steps. And maybe Kaiten wanted to force a fight on this floor versus the next floor, but that seems like an early place to go and do that. Vampire guarding just a cabin in what normally is the Ruby location. And a couple images will greet him before he gets up to the plate.
These are the gatekeepers of the floppy disk. Everybody pull your rods out. Let's shatter this bad boy.
So having found the floater, and both runners now having found it, the biggest thing they are looking for is the slab. We need the slab to be able to get the chime, to be able to get into the Mirage Tower. And also, I've learned I need to keep my notes in better order.
I've now watched Kaiten make two, I almost want to say, detrimental mistakes. He has dropped the Dragon Mail and now the Ice Shield for the Aegis, and I don't know what armor he has. I think the Ice armor still, but I'm not sure I like that. Those are especially the Ice Shield is the best shields you can have at this point in the game. To hope that you're going to find the tail, it's a little stretch, in my opinion.
So Kaiten finding a lot of wizards in this Earth Cave, as Purity's going to take on the vampire. And will dispatch without much difficulty, gaining level 15 in the process.
Gathering that beautiful cabin. Gonna take it out to the woods. Enjoy a nice night under the stars.
So as we're running out of spaces in Kaiten, also going to get level 20 coming out of the Earth Cave. That's a very useful number. Nice round number. But we're running out of places to potentially find the slab. Certainly with the floater, we'll see both runners go for the airship next.
Yep, it's in 3 possible places. It can be in Sea Shrine, it can be in Ordeals, or in the Ice Cave. Kaiten already knows it's not in the Ice Cave, so he's got 2 choices to pick. It could also be in the locked dungeon, mystic key areas of old, and it could also be in Cardia Islands or Waterfall.
So a lot of places still to explore at this stage of the game. They will also need the bottle as well. I don't believe we've seen that in any of the stores yet, but you know you're going to find that in one of them, so it's not something you're stressing over looking for. And let me go ahead and mention this. If anyone is new to the randomizer and you're thinking about, well, how would I approach all these things? How would I remember where all this stuff is? The use of maps is not only allowed, it's encouraged. Obviously, you'll be faster the more you can remember, but by all means, any tools, I should be careful about the word tools, but resources you can use, such as maps, charts to remember equipment and things like that, you're welcome to use it all. In fact, there's quite an extensive guide to introduce you to the randomizer tournament. Let me go ahead and relink the tournament brackets here. And the reason I like to link that is it's not just the brackets. There's several links on that website that you can see be helpful to you, as Kaiten is going to go in against Lich.
It's not a scary fight in the round 1 flags. Both Hollis party members have enough health to navigate the Ice 2 spell from Lich, and with the Mastermind and the Sun Sword, should be able to take them down probably in 1 round.
And there he goes. So we have our second orb restored.
And Purity right behind. This is maybe a minute difference.
Now, Purity's run has been very impressive. It's a perfect example of why you don't want to give up at any point. And having to navigate the bats, the worst trolls in the game.
Have you ever gotten the vampire bats stuck 4 or 5 tiles deep into that tunnel, into that hallway?
I have had to walk up right next to them and shove them out of my way as best I can, and just wish I could reach through the screen and punch them. Too bad you can't fight them.
Bats, there's only 1 friendly bat in this game. Is that a bounce bat?
You know, I've oft heard that, but I do have to dispute that. Because there is one room in the Earth Cave which has 3 bats sitting behind a door that we never go in, and they never bother us. So there's 4 friendly bats, in fact.
All right, that's true. That you got us there. That is the most realistic thing I've heard ever. That is fact.
So here we see Kaiten going over to get the airship, and then the whole world is opened up to him. We'll see where he goes next.
After you've obtained the floater, traded it in for a glorious airship, where's your first stop? Where do you like to go?
That is a good question. We've not found the slab yet, which means I can't go to the air shrine. That would be my first choice between the three people. Well, let me back up. When I'm dealing with the dungeons, I would rather go to the air shrine first. Give me free treasure. Always give me free treasure first. So I'm going right over to talk to the dragons and see what goodies I can get out of those free treasure chests.
Yeah, as we see, Kaiten is looking feverishly for the Cardia Islands. Finally lands on it. I have lost many runs to being unfamiliar with the location of treasure chests. Never knew this island existed, and it's not fun. Feels bad, man, when you are 2 hours into a race and you can't find a key item.
So the required item both runners are looking for is the slab. And there are still certainly useful items available to them. Number one on that list being the tail. But we've not seen a ribbon yet, correct?
I do not believe so. If
So
that's what I'm looking for. I'm hunting a ribbon. If Kaiten's dropped a lot of the key knight armor pieces, so he may not even be caring about class changing at this point.
So we see the wrap-up of the islands here. He double-checks to see what that staff was. Or he may have just clicked too fast to not see it. So failing that, it looks like he might go to the waterfall next, would be my guess from this area.
I think you check Gaia first for the bottle. Then you don't have to make 2 trips over here. Park's kind of far away from the closest landing spot, but it's okay.
Well, he was closer to this city than the others, so in that sense, it does make a certain amount of sense that you would stop here, although it is a longer walk. But I have to imagine either way, he's going to go to the waterfall from here.
Yes, Kaiten, that is, you cannot run from the cold, big, burly giant, unfortunately.
And Purity is going to pick up the ox ale. So imagine we'll see him head straight over to Waterfall, then Sea Shrine.
It's going to skip over the Cardia Isles. We're right there with you, Zara. This is crazy tight. I'm almost inclined to say Purity's a little bit further ahead right now. Purity, I've been impressed, has been on the overworld, very efficiently using the tents and skipping encounters. Seems to have a really good knowledge of the step mechanic in the game.
So both players have the waterfall in mind. They'll pick up the cube, which is a required item. I didn't list it as one of the items they're looking for, even though it is required, because it's always going to be in the same place. It's one of what I call the NPC items, meaning if any NPC is going to give it to you by talking to them, it will not change its location in the randomizer.
Thank God. Could you imagine having to talk to all of the NPCs in this game?
Find out which one of them has the ship.
Oh, that would be terrible. It's like you can fight any of the NPCs in Corneria or Provoca could have the boat. It's like, wait a minute.
And there's the tail. There's the tail. It's in the waterfall. So both runners going to pick it up along with the cube. Now, I'm the paranoid sort, and I think you were talking about this earlier. As soon as I come out of there with a major item, I'd want to save. Just because I don't know what craziness will happen. So with the red mage strategy, I don't think there's any question we'll see both runners do the class change.
Hold on, I got that. Oh, there we go.
Dan a little bit low on hit points, but that doesn't really matter at this stage. So Kaiten is going to fly back to the islands. And DD making a great point that there's a limited number of people who could have this ship, but the entire world you might have to talk to find who could translate the slab.
It's going to be that. It's going to be that dragon in On Rock.
And is Kaiten maybe having a little trouble getting his orientation to find the Bahamut's Island? So a lot available now. Kaiten has not gotten the Oxale yet. Purity has, so we're going to see Purity into the Sea Shrine coming out of here, I imagine, while Kaiten can't go to the Mirage Tower yet, lacking the slab. And I don't recall if Kaiten checked the item shop. So we'll have to go hunting for the bottle.
Which I believe we now know is in Gaia. I believe Purity confirmed that for us.
Well, where is Kaiten going here?
Oh,
Is
he's
he
going to
going to
go to
Ordeal?
Ordeals? Oh.
That is a major divergence in routes I believe we're going to see now, because no reason for Purity not to dig the Sea Shrine.
And Purity has opted not to go class change. I kind of like this, as the black belt gets significantly less magic defense growth as a master, going from, I believe it's 4 to 1. And poor Kitty is getting trolled by this NPC so hard.
And just did exactly what I was thinking. You might as well exit out and try your luck again. That's a much better placement. So Kaiten gonna make his way through Castle Ordeals. We'll make a note here of one of the things the randomizer does. You can change the orientation of those pillars where they will warp you to. However, it will not be done in round 1. So they are vanilla at this point, as Stone hits Kaiten. I hope there's some softs in the inventory. Got 12. That's a good number.
This is rough. You want to talk about some of the goodness and the badness of the Sea Shrine here, the unrunnables and whatnot?
Well, that's a good point, because we haven't gotten into that just yet. So, the biggest thing is the water elementals. You will not be able to run from them. If it's a party of 2 to 5 ghosts, you will not be able to run from it. And I've never actually had to pronounce this for anyone, but the Sahags, if you've got a mix of the wizard and the red, you will not be able to run from them.
So you're basically praying for no rough unrunnables here, because those are big. Especially the Wiz Sahag and the Red Sahag. It's usually a party of 9. Not fun, but a lot of very, very good EXP opportunities here. The Gersharks. If you get 2 Gersharks or Gershark and I think they're called the Big Eyes. They're the bluish ones. Those are great.
Hold that thought. We see that Ordeal's great last treasure is a silver shield. So Kaiten's gamble does not pay off. He did get a pro cape. Well, amend myself. He found a pro cape, but I believe he reset to before he entered Ordeals, so he won't even have that pro cape to show for it.
Now it's going to check, dropping that MLG airship drop twice. Third time's the charm. There we go. I love doing that. So are you at this point, are you looking for magic? Are you looking for maybe an armor upgrade? Or are you just trying to find that bottle that costs 65,535 gold? He is going to go to level 8s.
Now, if I recall correctly, neither runner has life 2, so I'd still be checking the magic shops, because even 1 or 2 casts of life 2 could be helpful. I mean, we look down at Purity right now, the black belt with only 60 hit points. It would sure be nice to have life 2 in the bank.
Yep. Purity not taking advantage of the save squares, running straight up and running into a couple extra encounters. Now she finds a pro ring in her first chest. Very nice.
No random encounters on the mermaid floor, so you can safely explore for your treasure chests.
Boom! Slab time. It's go time. Let's go.
So I would exit out of here and save.
And that he did. I wonder if he does not have houses, because he keeps going to this inn. This is a lot of extra walking in time loss. But definitely found that slab. And this NPC continues. Oh my god. This guy.
Is Purity back in the Earth Cave?
No, that's Kaiten.
I'm sorry, is Kaiten back in the Earth Cave?
Yes, I don't know why. Poor Purity.
Yeah, I don't remember Kaiten overlooking any treasure chests going through here. So, not quite sure what this is.
This is nerves. This is...
Did he maybe miss one room? That's all I can figure, is maybe he missed one, like, single treasure chest room off to the side that wasn't in his normal route, and now knowing he needs slab, he's gonna go back and look for it.
Well, if he's not grabbing that one, the only... I know he did the one protected by the Earth Guardian on this floor, so it has to be one of the big ones on floor 4 with the 4 and 5 chests, I think it is, or 5 and 6.
So it looks like we're a little ahead on Purity, but, well, let's talk about Go Mode, as Purity will end up picking up an unrunnable fight, so... Purity now has every item required, although Purity does still have to go pick up the actual chime, translate the slab and pick up the chime, but in terms of items you have to find, has now found everything. So, what's your first reaction when you know that that's your situation?
So if I'm at this point, he's found the slab, he's got everything, and we call that in the community Go Mode, and I'm just trying to get through everything as fast as possible. I'm picking up the treasure chests that are, not too far out of the way. Nobody's found a ribbon yet. So they're definitely looking for that. The ribbon is going to be astronomically important in TOFR, especially without the spells and script shuffle. The Tiamat 2 fight is extremely difficult, and the Chaos fight can get very hairy if he gets deep into his skill and spell rotation.
So Purity was sort of forced into a no-grinding strategy, but now we see those levels getting up to 19 and 20, and you can sort of see the advantage of not grinding in that all these levels have caught up, and it looks like Purity is just going to bypass any chest, however convenient it may be. So, true Go Mode for Purity.
Unless we missed that Purity grabbed a ribbon, you need one. You have to find one ribbon. If you can't keep your white mage or one of your red mages that has life or life 2 alive, it's going to be very near impossible. In his party, actually probably wants 2, because the black belt is going to get punished without any added protections.
And I mentioned this briefly before, something that you won't realize in a vanilla playthrough of the game is there is one room in this sea shrine that is locked by the Mystic Key. Now, it's just one treasure chest, so if you're in the randomizer and you come in here without the crown being found yet, you're not really going to worry about that one treasure chest because it can't be there anyways. But when you're looking for good stuff, you hate to come in here still needing an item like the slab and not being able to get into that one room. But we're going to see a Kraken fight here very soon for Purity.
Kaiten gonna make his way to the mermaids, check these treasure chests on this floor. Now, are you a personal? Is this a floor you're checking immediately, or are you predisposed to kind of skip this floor? Because there's only, I believe, 4 chests on this floor. They're very, very widely spread.
You know, when you need an item, you need an item, and the worst thing you can have to do is come back to a dungeon because you tried to save time skipping a treasure chest. As the fight against Kraken commences for Purity.
Without all the coffee shop attitude.
Are you gonna buy anything?
Get a key to the tap room at shop.nescafe.ca.
I'm inclined to agree with you, DD Gamings. There's almost no way Purity thinks that he's ahead right now after the very, very awful volcano he had, and the marsh cave even put him far behind as well. But Kaiten's gambles have not paid off and have allowed Purity to catch up.
And I think that explains why we saw the total go mode out of Purity when he had to walk right by 2 treasure chests that were 1 tile off. And even when you're in go mode, there's still stuff out there, and those treasure chests are 1 tile away. So personally, when I'm running it, I'm going to grab them. But it looks like, to me, Purity is thinking, save every bit of time that I can. I have everything that I need. Maybe, just maybe, Kaiten didn't find something yet. Maybe Kaiten hasn't been to the waterfall yet, so he doesn't have the cube. You don't know, so take what advantages you possibly can.
And let's see if we can get files and show.
So we are about 15 minutes shy of the 2-hour mark. And that 2-hour mark is pretty significant in these round 1 flags. It's probably the time where if you're not in Temple of Fiends, you're going to start feeling a little nervous.
Yep. This is the these round 1 flags can be extremely forgiving. I personally like to be, if I'm much higher than like 215, I probably feel like I've made some routing mistakes or something, but like a good 2 hour push for the round 1 flags, I think is safe to say. But this one has been very, very trolly, to say the least. I mean, they had to go deep into marsh, they had to go deep into earth, they had to go deep into sea shrine. So, I mean, this has not been an easy seed by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, I find this decision interesting because Purity is going to explore the Dragon Island treasure chest. And I suppose the case you can make for that is you're not going to have to fight anything getting into those treasure chests. So maybe that was the concern back in the Sea Shrine. Make sure you get out of there without taking another death after you got everything you did. But he'll come and see our friendly neighborhood dragon and get his class change.
I think Dee Dee's right. I think Kaiten did not go to the mermaid floor. Because he's on the other side going to Kraken now. Ooh, that feels bad, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
if he's opening these rooms, then he's still looking for treasures, so he did not find the slab on the mermaid floor. So,
This is Kaiten. Oh no.
but again, we've said this earlier, and you do not want to take anything for granted, nothing at all, because however significant a lead looks at this stage of the game, no lead is safe. None whatsoever.
Oh yes, Purity's definitely going to have to either find a ribbon or grind significantly. There's almost no way he's getting through TOFR at this level.
So let's try and do a little bit of rundown of the major items, as now we've seen all of them. The crown was all the way back in the marsh cave. The TNT was blocked by the Mystic Key back in Cornea, pretty much in its vanilla location, in fact. They found the floater in the Earth Cave. The Masamune was back in the Dwarf Cave, locked away. We did not find the adamant. The slab we found in the Sea Shrine. And the tail was in the waterfall. And both runners obviously found the tail, got the class changes. So the one that is missing a key item is that Kaiten has not yet found the slab, which means until you do, you can't go to Mirage Tower.
Splitting the slab is on the mermaid level of the Sea Shrine. Purity has it. He's completed Kraken, and Kaiten went that way. I guess got tripped up. The layout of the first floor of going towards Mermaid and the one going towards Kraken kind of have a similar layout. Yeah, Kaiten has literally checked every chest except for those, 10 on that floor?
Those and the Marsh Cave. The key-blocked Marsh Cave chests.
I don't think he's checked the one in TOF either.
I believe you're correct on that. So we might see him go to TOF after this, because those would be the quickest to check if he doesn't go right back in and check the mermaids after this, which at this point I would have to imagine that's what his strategy is he felt like go in and beat Kraken first and then go back to the mermaids.
That may be. I don't know. I'm as confused as everybody else.
Well, let's talk about the advantages of both ways. The advantage of going to see the mermaids first is there's a lot of free treasure chests up there, and it's faster to get to from when you walk in to the whole place. So that's what we saw Purity do. The advantage to Kaiten's strategy, and it does have one, is this is the required path. This is where you must go. If he finds the slab in here, then he saved steps by not going up to see the mermaids.
He may also... Purity didn't check any of these chests, so Kaiten could pick up a ribbon. That would be probably his... as he gets slapped in the face by the ghost. Good lord. I think the ribbon is the biggest find these players are looking for now. Kaiten, of course, needing the slab still, but armor-wise, they need some protections.
Or some very forgiving RNG out of the randomizer, because what we're counting on is, in fact, what I think you have to plan on is the fiends in TFOR and the random encounters being at least as strong, if not stronger, as they normally would be. And it makes sense that you have to plan for that. But if they're weaker, you might be able to skate by with something.
So as I mentioned earlier, Kaiten dropped the Dragon Mail. How bad does he feel now? That's between that and the Aegis Shield. I believe you get protection from everything except time magic.
I'm far from an expert on those. I just know it's a good idea. So I'll try and stack up on stuff like the ribbon and the pro cape and know that I'm pretty well protected. And Dee Dee's saying dragon armor is fire, ice, and thunder. So Kaiten continues to dig the sea shrine. And I mentioned earlier how gold piles up, and we saw a brief flash of the gold counters for both runners there, and you can see how crazy the amounts get. And it looks like we're about to get our first look at the Mirage Tower, and Kaiten does find a ribbon. He didn't pick it up yet. He's got to make space for it, but he did find the ribbon.
That's huge. That's so good. Yes, Dragon Mail reduces fire, ice, and lightning. Aegis reduces poison, and the Pro Ring protects against death. So with those three pieces of armor, you're only missing protection from Earth Elemental and Time Elemental. So even with all that protection, you're still at risk of being cracked, zapped. I believe XXXX is also a time spell.
Now, there are a lot of treasure chests between the Mirage Tower and the floating castles, so we'll see if perhaps Purity will swing down here to this room, and the reason maybe this room instead of the first floor is how all those treasure chests are right there together in as few steps as possible. But I imagine from what we've seen out of Purity, we're going to see pure go mode.
Yes. I like to check the second to last floor of Sky Fortress. There's a couple of rooms that are not too far out of the way, and it's eight, I think it's 10 chests you can grab real quick. But I'm not going through all of Sky Fortress and looking in all of those chests that are all spread out.
And now we're going to, well, not quite yet, but we're about to get our first look at the big blue dragon. And Kaiten is going to make his way over to Kraken now.
So pretty much Purity is looking for any of the three ribbons. Kaiten is maybe looking for the adamants.
Well, Kaiten still doesn't have the slab.
Well, yeah, but besides that,
fair enough, but we almost can't overstate that.
But I mean, as far as additional stuff, he wants maybe the Excalibur. He's got the Massmean he can put on Bill. But other than that, I mean, once he finds that slab, he should be gas to the floor going.
So Thunder hits hard, but the Blue Dragon will go down in one round for Purity.
Yeah, with that combination, DD, I believe you're only weak to like one or two elements. So you can still get cracked, and that's about the worst, I believe.
So we're about to see Kaiten's battle against Kraken.
Let's see if this Kraken is as nice as Purity's. Let's hope there's not a carry punching you for 310 damage and wiping out your Sun sword holder in Bill.
Well, the Invis and a Temper get off before Anything crazy happens, darkness goes out, the ink.
Love it.
There's the second temper, so should be a big hit out of ace this round.
Purity is running. Go Purity. And I like Purity has shown pretty good knowledge of the good encounters to take in Tiamat's zone of love and treachery. The Sentry Guard combo is great for experience, though it is a pretty difficult fight. But this is a great place to catch up if you're behind in experience.
In fact, we now see they are even, if not Purity, a little higher in levels. I think Purity has a couple people at 24 that Kaiten does not. So Kaiten finishes with Kraken.
And is going back to the inn.
And he'll re-enter the town, so it looks like he'll... Okay, I was wondering if he was going to the magic shops first, but looks like he's going to go back to the fairy floor. Not fairy. The mermaids.
All right. Sardia, the Aegis shield protects against Bane.
Small coffee, $6.50.
Getting a cup of coffee shouldn't suck. Introducing the Nescafe Coffee Tap Room. Use a sweet and creamy session.
And here comes quite possibly the longest walk of the game. Or at least it feels like it.
Are you gonna buy anything?
Get a key to the tap room at
If you're Purity, are you fighting Warmack?
Oh. Here is my thought process. You would hate to commit everybody to running and it not work. So I might try and split my strategies, buff the black belt and have him attack, and then have my other two people try and run.
So we have one ribbon versus no ribbon.
Don't sleep on this fight, by the way. I'm sorry to step over you here, but these sorcerers, if they start nailing everybody with AoE trance, that can be an extremely bad day.
Yes, the Mudgul fasted. Oh, yeah, don't get the white mage. Don't do it.
Okay, so the fade is going to go off.
There we go.
Hope to see these sorcerers go down.
They might not touch you badly. The sorcerers, fably known for having death touch, the most
Ugliest skill in the game.
infuriating. And we actually had a chat about this in the Discord the other day. The pro ring does not protect against the sorcerer's basic attack. The death elemental it protects against is from magic spells. So physical status applications, there's no protection for that, except the ice shield protects from paralysis.
So a high encounter rate on this bridge, and that's the last thing you want. It's the second to last thing you want to see on this bridge, because every time that flash happens, you're wondering, is this the one? And a lot of damage to Purity's health, so gets through that fight, but needs to heal up.
The young poisonous nachos doing work. And we haven't seen Purity run from a single encounter since the 3 floors ago.
Well, and this was a great equalizer. Purity was able to use the fights that were naturally on the course to get up to level 25. That's a very, very respectable level for going into Temple of Fiends. And here we go with Tiamat. If I recall correctly, no Bane Sword available?
Correct. No Bane, I believe, either.
I would almost be surprised if somebody would pick it up in a store. I mean, maybe if it was just virtually free in one. or if there was nothing else useful on the spell level. So I'm not surprised to see somebody not pick up Bane. But if you have the sword, it just almost is a shame to not try it in this fight. Meanwhile, Kaiten looks like he's going to go try. He got his slab translated. He's going to go pick up the chime. Using the invis strategy, and this Tiamat is hitting pretty hard. But that's a big hit.
Woo, 452. I mean, when you have no armor, or essentially no armor, everybody's going to hit you like a truck.
And there's the big Cure 4, which was well timed because that would have wiped out the black belt otherwise.
Now, I wonder, he casted Wall on one party member. Do you extend the love to everybody, or do you just... I mean,
well, he did it for her to protect the mass immune. So that strategy works out well, and he gets through and has all 4 orbs restored.
I wonder if Wall is in a slot learnable by the red mages. If it is, I'm considering picking it up with no ribbons.
And been a while since we showed some love to our runners. This I'm going to post in the chat their Twitch usernames and strongly suggest checking them out. Both of them providing some great entertainment for us tonight. Kaiten streaming on Philippines time, so he might not be conflicting with your favorite streamers. Purity, a little more casual and not a committed schedule to streaming, but still, what a run we've seen out of Purity in this.
Purity making the comeback of the ages here.
Now, maybe a little interesting he didn't take advantage of the 3 treasure chests there. It's not really surprising since at this point we've clearly seen Purity's strategy is just go, 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 go. But ended up going into Temple of Fiends right around the 2-hour mark. Considering what you've seen, it would have to feel like a respectable time. If you didn't know where everything was and see how hard some of it was to get to, you might feel a little less secure at the 2-hour mark. But having found everything, you got to feel pretty good about that time.
And Purity's got to be wondering, what is Kaiten doing?
And I just noticed we had Show in here, so has our other race finished? Because I've only focused on ours. I did not see how the other one went. Hopefully chat will let me know. And here's the zombie dragons. They are unrunnable.
Hi, Show.
So let's look at this real fast. In Temple of Fiends, you're going to see stuff from all over, so all the previous unrunnables are on the table. We've added the zombie dragon to the pool now. The worms will be a big one, because you saw the G-worms before, but when you see just plain worm, 1 to 4 of them will be unrunnable. This mix that we see now of the frost giants and frost wolves, they're unrunnable. The gas dragons are unrunnable. And if you see the iron golems, they are unrunnable.
I've never seen the iron golems. You also have the frost wolf, frost giant, fires, earths, and those are the only other ones, I believe.
Okay, so I'm going to defend myself here. Sar is saying that if I checked the Discord, I would know who won the race. Sar, I have been focusing on this incredible race that's in front of us with these wonderful runners, diligently focusing on my task as a commentator. I have not been checking the Discord.
I have so much crap up on my 2 monitors. Like, there's no space for the Discord right now. What is Kaiten? What did he just do? Oh my! Does he not know you can just go up?
And I'm getting a little bit of credit back from Tsar for. So I was looking to see if I could find the answer to my question. I still haven't found the answer to my question of who won the first race. Show is a great runner, though. If I had to guess.
Well, he announced it in the chat. You can just look.
I did a cursory check. I couldn't find it. But I didn't want to be distracted for too long. So, the Big Blue Dragon. Not fun.
Well, we've got a lot of skip chests, so it could be in other places. So if you're a mat runner, then I am potato tier.
Well, if the tracker's maybe not giving all the information that people would want, let's run through a little bit. Obviously, both have the required items as Purity goes into the fight against Lich. Both runners have found the Masamune, and both runners have found the Sun Sword, so that's what we have for weapons. Thor's Hammer was a very nice early find. Derp and Wit are in a lot of health trouble here after that round from Lich. But Lich is terminated, so they will live to fight on.
That nuke.
So using those heal 3s. And that's a good point that Adamant was not found. Now there's multiple chests in Temple of Fiends Revisited, but we're not going to see either runner go for them. They're much too far out of the way, so even if it had something you'd want, like a ribbon, there'd just be no reason to go after them. It's too far out of the way. So we get ready for the showdown with carry number 2.
Carry 1 was not friendly, so let's see if Carry 2 is a little nicer to Purity.
Gonna go with the Invis 2 strats, and why not when it's just the level 2 spell and you can really stack it up. And the Fire 3 gonna come out. Derp got hit pretty hard with that, but otherwise okay. As Kaiten gets in there against Tiamat. And a good big hit on round 1 against Tiamat.
Masamune is so good.
So there's a lot ahead as carry goes down. Water floor, maybe longest floor of the Temple of Fiends Revisited. It's coming sandwiched in between 2 short floors, because if you're not going for the treasure, the fire floor is pretty quick. And the air floor is also pretty short.
Purity is just going no waters, no waters, no waters right now. Kaiten runs from a Tyro disqualified.
I hold no strong opinions on the Tyros. But looks like Purity going to top off the...
It can be gaming, TD.
Yeah, Adamant could really be anywhere. The places it absolutely could be, we saw every chest out of the Sea Shrine, I believe, because of Kaiten. We've seen none of the chests out of the... And there's the waters for Purity, so he gets to slug this out. And it looks like he's going to use Lightning 3 and not mess around.
Fun fact, the water elementals are weak to ice, not electricity. I don't know why.
Well, you know, it is hard for water to move around when it's frozen solid, so I guess there's some logic there. But the Adamant could have been in Mirage Tower Air Castle. It could have been at the bottom of Marsh Cave. And it could be in Temple of Fiends Revisited. Or it could have been in Vanilla Temple of Fiends because we had the locked chests were never opened. So, for those of you curious, there you go. And
What
level
do you
20.
think? What do you think is... Go ahead, finish.
Okay, I was just noticing that the level 27 for Purity, which if you're lacking the ribbons, then I'd certainly want some levels to try and help offset it. So 27 looks pretty good right now as he gets ready for the big showdown with Kraken. And he gets waters one more time.
Oh my god, that feels bad, man.
Okay, and now Kaiten's going to enter the Temple of Fiends.
So, we're 211 in. You're looking in the IRC. You see that neither have done. What's going through your mind as a racer in this situation?
You know, even for Kaiten, I wouldn't feel bad about a 211 time, I don't think, getting into here. Just because he went to Ice Cave, it didn't pay off, but what are the chances your opponent never went to Ice Cave? He went to Castle Ordeals, and that didn't work out, but it was not a long dungeon. So even though his opponent might have been able to skip Ordeals, and you could have lost time there, you didn't lose a lot of time. So if he hasn't done yet, maybe he had some frustrations finding the slab. Maybe he had trouble finding something else. As Kaiten's going to reload, he did not like the way that that was going against the gas dragons. So,
and again, not having a save state close to cost him, another 10 seconds.
He does that, and he uses up the tents, which I believe was to line up his heals in that first column, because it is so annoying when those heals are not in the first column.
Kraken has pin slapped poor black belts.
So these fiends can be a great equalizer, and that's the other thing. We talked about this a couple of times tonight. You just have to finish going through what you're doing, because you don't know what will trip up another runner.
That's right. The lack of defense. I'm actually quite surprised / impressed that Purity has had little issues so far, other than this one down black belt. He's gotten through the first 2 queens, and it looks like he's going to take down Kraken with relative ease.
And there it goes, and that's probably one of the advantages to sticking that Moss Immune on your third character, is they're going to get hit a little less. So, short floor, here comes Tiamat.
Gatekeeper 2.0.
And I want to point this out before we maybe get to this point. Kaiten is, of course, on a different time zone than we are. So, time might be a bit of an issue tonight. So if he sees, and not to put this cart before the horses, Tiamat's going to put Bane out there. Oh, it's devastating. Takes out 2 red mages before the wall could go up. That hurts. And it'll be backup strats now for Purity. So I'm going to abandon the whole train of thought I was about to talk about, and we'll just react to what we see here. Gonna do the invis strats to try and protect that black belt from melee damage. Oh, and Wit takes a big hit. This could be huge. Thunder. It wipes out Wit.
Oh no.
So all you can... Oh, he reloaded. I don't like that decision, actually. I'm not sure you could beat Chaos with one black belt at this low a level, but if you had gotten through that, you could have healed up and fought after Tiamat to try and grind some levels solo for the black belt with your stack of heals. And man, but he thinks his better strategy is to reload, so that's what he does, and means Kaiten is actually a little deeper into the Temple of Fiends now with a little bit better equipment.
This race is turn after turn of craziness, and we see another reset.
Yeah, he walks
Purity.
into the four gas dragons and decides not to mess with that. Hey, I'm early in it. Why don't I just try for better luck? Did Kaiten just tell somebody to run against the gas dragons?
Dan, usually useless, so just run.
Okay, I can understand not having a use, but that's also where I'd like to stick an item on him that maybe I can use. I believe they have the heal staff, so
I believe Dan has the ice shield, the black robe, which the gas dragons are. What's the word? Weak to the ice spell.
So now we have a debate going on about the black belt, and Will saying he likes the solo black belt grind strats, and Phantom one-shots Bill out of Kaiten's party, but he'll be able to restore that. So actually, we're neck and neck again, aren't we?
We are. And look, Purity checks the chests.
I was actually looking up at Kaiten. You saying he looked at the phantom chests, and an unrunnable fight for Kaiten.
I have the restream and Purity stream because it's at a little further ahead. It's like at the same pace as Kaiten's. But yeah, Purity went and looked at their two chests in Phantom's room.
Okay, that'll be interesting, because then we'll also see if Purity's going to go ahead and check the other treasure chests that are in the temple, because there are a few more. And maybe hoping to find a ribbon. So a lot of question marks still sit in front of us.
This has been the seed of dreams. Like this is what you want to see, a crazy back and forth. I mean, the runs have been filled with peril. Purity has wiped a lot. Kaiten has gambled a lot, and in the end, we see that they meet, and it's a hot, even race.
So, we can't say enough about the whole tournament here. Czar, if you could you hit us up with some links, because we don't have a bot command for me to use, so I'd have to go hunting through my files for all the links again. But folks, you definitely want to check out the rest of this tournament. It has been just so competitive, and it's really remarkable how competitive we've seen these matches be. Not just one of them, but we're seeing it time and again where no lead is safe, no strategy is sure, as Bill is now hit by stone for Kaiten. Hopefully he got enough softs in the bank.
He's like, we don't need him right now.
And here comes the fight against Lich. Lich gonna fire off the nuke, and it's hitting hard. and it takes out Wit. So his
Oh,
white
no.
mage is down, but Lich goes down, so you can recover.
Dormez en paix.
Does he not have life on the red mages?
We'll see. He's just healing up right now.
Well, he went and checked the magic of both of the red mages, so it's either he doesn't have life on them or he's decided to take the opportunity to grind with one party member down. And that was too fast going by for me. I didn't see his whole spell list. But he definitely went into it for both red mages. As now Kaiten is going to go to the Lich fight.
Well, if he's grinding, I don't think you're passing up 3 Agamas. That's juicy stuff right there.
So it does look like he doesn't have the life spell for the red mages, for red wizards to be more accurate. So if somebody who's more an expert on the spell slots can tell me if that was in a slot where the red mages can't learn them, or was it the red mages couldn't learn it and he never went back after class changing, is very possible.
I think it was in slot 4 in the first shop. So I believe that the red wizards can, in fact, learn that.
Well, but what happened with his class changes is he found the tail in the waterfall, did the sea shrine, was in go mode after that, so he never went back and learned any magic.
And
But
carry.
But boy, to
Carry.
not have life on one of those red mages is something he's probably wishing was not the case. This is a long road to go with just 2 red mages.
Thankfully, they have the 2 best available weapons, so let's hope carry is nice.
Well, he gets through it.
Now here's your do you continue or do you just reset, go shop, see if you can learn something new? Not having the white mage in his life 2 cast is really hurting.
It's so tough to do it when you're here, but this fight here might cause me to reset, honestly, if I didn't already do it. But I probably would have resetted when I looked and saw that I didn't have life on either of the red wizards. And there's his reset, but he goes back in. He doesn't go for the magic. This is... The only way I can explain this is I think Purity feels I'm behind. I got to try everything I can.
No, Artea, they did not have Ice 3.
Didi is saying if life was the 3rd or 4th spell, Red Wizard can't learn it. Well, there's life in life too, so one of them you probably could have learned with the Red Wizard. Unfortunately, I wasn't watching for that as we went along. I might make a note of that for future reference.
I thought at class change they could learn the 4th slot in Corneria, but I could be wrong.
And there's the reset again. So these are some unforgiving fiends.
Carrie be just punching people in the face.
So I'm not going to call this a lead, but I'm going to say more progress into the dungeon for Kaiten at the moment. Indeed, no one has seen Chaos yet. Purity was in the fight against Tiamat, was down to just the black belt and chose to reset. So did not actually try and finish the fight, just went ahead and reset, figuring that was less time lost. And one other thing I don't think we've mentioned yet is this is a best of 3 series in the winner's bracket. So these two runners still have 2 more tries, and both of them might do some strategy adjustment in between this and the next one. And both of them in runnable fights right now. We've seen plenty of those in this seed.
So, how many wipes do you take before you're like, okay, I can't do this, I got to grind? And where do you go to grind?
You know, it's just such a tough call at this point. I think if I'm Purity and I've already made the decision to come back in here, I've got to try and scale one more time with this party. And if I get wiped out, then I got to think of something different. So I might start at just the first floor, see if I can get 2 levels even, and maybe make a difference.
I think maybe, both of these runners are new. Maybe Purity's lack of knowledge of the magic for the Red Mage's mechanic, but not going to look for the wall spell or either of the life spells. I think it might be the reason he loses, if that is the case.
Well, I hope we get to talk to both runners after this race, and I think what we're going to find from Purity is just it was the decision to commit totally and completely to go mode. And we saw that from the moment Purity picked up the slab. All treasure chests were ignored, never went back. I don't even think he even went to item shop after getting the slab. I think he was totally done with everything other than he stopped to get the class change and then upgrade the equipment. For Kaiten, you might be hoping that Bill lives through this fight against Kraken.
Now, does Kaiten not have wall?
He might opt to do Invis first. Well, maybe he doesn't because he's not using it here, and that seems like a risk as the Lightning 2 comes out to play. But he does fine through that, and he's going to double heal.
Another wipe for Purity.
Thanks for the links to the runners, Sar. And Kraken goes down. Kaiten gives the fist pump to celebrate. And he'll get ready for Tiamat. I believe this is his first try against Tiamat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Dee Dee, I think we all understand and appreciate that you are not touching anything while the stream is going on. Dee Dee is our restreamer that's letting us have the race cast going on here. So Kai is very happy that Kaiten is very happy that the Invis 2 went up, but the Bane comes out and it takes out Bill and it takes out Dan. Now,
This is rough.
Rough, but not terrible. And he does have wall, by the way. He just opted not to use it against Kraken. As long as he keeps Cal alive, Ace with that Moss Immune could certainly take out Tiamat. Maybe in one more hit.
He's done about 900 to Tiamat, so he's got a little more to go through. And no, only 169.
Hard hit. Hopefully this will do it. And Tiamat goes down. So Ace had, not Ace, I'm sorry. Kaiten had exactly the reaction you would expect him to have. Oh, he didn't! He didn't recover yet.
Uh-oh.
And he gets an unrunnable fight. The worms are unrunnable. And they are hitting. Oh my. Folks, I can only tell you what I would do. And if I got through that fight, I wouldn't take a step without healing.
I'm baby raging if I'm him. So he risks not healing, takes the air fight, and then takes another step without healing.
If he's got Cure 4, you desperately need to use
Oh no!
white
no!
mage.
The worm.
Oh no! Oh. And obviously, we don't have a rooting interest in which runner takes this, but we want to see good things for both runners. So we've been disappointed with every wipe we've seen. And I think of all things that have happened between both runners in this entire seed, that is the one that Kaiten, even if he comes back and win this, because this is not over. This is not over at all. But that's probably the one that he's gonna wish he had that back. That's the nicest way I can say that.
Yeah, he's crying right now.
And he left the temple. Did he just reset after seeing a bad encounter? So let's talk about our situation as it stands. You don't know where the other runner is, but you know it's 2.5 hours. You've been in go mode for a solid 45 minutes now, and your opponent has not done. You have seen all of the fiends. You know they're ugly, but they're beatable. But you start to question, what could you do differently now?
Well, Trenton, I was in a similar situation like this last week, where I was 8,000 hours behind everybody, and I came back to finish last in the race, but I reached chaos first or second, and you've got to be thinking like, am I doing something wrong? Is he doing something wrong? Or is chaos rolled insanely high, like 120% gains on every stat?
Now, the other thing that I think bears mention is, first of all, we're all human. It's approaching midnight here on the East Coast. Kaiten is on Philippines time, so I have no idea how those time zones convert, if somebody wants to correct me on that.
Kaiten's good. It's like noon for him, I think.
Well, but he might have other stuff he needs to do with his day, so there could be frustration setting in on his part. They're telling me 12-hour difference, so okay. But after 2.5 hours, sometimes it's hard to stop and take a thought about what you want to do differently, which maybe sometimes that's your best play, is don't play. Stop, take a breath, think about where you are, and think about what you want to do differently. I can't blame Kaiten for charging right back in and trying this.
If I'm one of them and I wipe it again, I'm probably stepping away, using the bathroom, refreshing my drink, and thinking, okay, he's struggling too. I obviously need to grind. I need to do something. I need to gain some levels, some strength. But where do you go? Do you go to the Agamas where you know it's safe, you can kill off your party members and just solo grind your knight or your master? Or do you just keep trucking and pushing and trying?
I think you can't blame Kaiten for trying to go on with the equipment he's got. Purity, lacking the ribbons, levels are probably your best answer because you're not going to go redig dungeons for treasure at this point. That ship is gone. You're committed to this strategy. And Purity might have done that, might have grinded, if not for feeling probably that they were behind going into this dungeon.
So we've answered the question. The red mages do not have any level 2 slots available for the wall spell. Only the white mage learned it, which is kind of unfortunate having no ribbons. 3 casts of wall would have been excellent.
So Purity will get through carry and advance to the longest floor of the temple. Or at least it feels like it. And the zombie dragons, another unrunnable for Kaiten. So what does everybody do in a randomizer race? They're maybe feeling a little bit fatigued themselves. They start spamming the puns.
The viewers getting their troll on. It's not Twitch chat with the little trolling. We know, Zardia, you're just a machine. You and Show with your 4 a.m. Hey, anybody want to race? Texts always kill me when I wake up at 7.
So the water's, of course, unrunnable, but Purity using the black shirt for Ice 2 and getting back to level 27 and level 28 for Derp. And he gets ready for the showdown with Kraken once again. I mean, I think both runners are looking at this right now and thinking, I've been against everything. I know I can win against everything. They're not sitting there against that brutal fiend that they know is too tough for their party. They're not hoping to get lucky. They know they can beat it, although the black belt just got one-shotted.
Again?
Was that damage, or did Kraken just show us he has death touch? That was too quick for me to notice.
Kraken, hold on, I'll tell you 1 second. Come on, heal up.
Well, it may have been pure damage because he just did a number on Derp.
Yeah, Kraken hit for 712.
Well, there's your problem. And Derp is down.
I believe the Bulls had the paralysis, not death. I don't think we've seen death touch.
Never sorry to not see that. So if you can pull this out, Purity I'm speaking for here, if Purity can pull this out, you still have the life with your white mage, and he does. So the run lives. And he just has life 1, so I guess we never found life 2 along. But he does have cure 4.
I thought he had life 2 on the white mage, but I could be wrong.
Well, that would have been the time to use it. Or actually, I think Kaiten now, as I'm thinking about it, I think he has life 2. So maybe he went to a magic shop that Purity did not.
Kaiten going to test the waters with Lich again. Yes. Purity gets the fabled water unrunnable, everybody's favorite.
But he does get levels out of that fight, and that's not a bad thing going against this Tiamat. And if I'm correct, this is his first chance at revenge?
Yep. He's on his knees praying to Czar and Jesus, hoping that Crack does not Our Bane does not just totally destroy him. So he's going double invis 2, triple invis 2. I don't like this.
Well, you've seen these fiends hit hard, so fix the problem you can. If you've got 2 problems and you can only fix one, fix that one.
1, 2. Oh, the Mass Moon Wielder does not fall.
Well, if only 2 are going to survive for him, those are the 2. And here comes the wall.
All right, I think he's got it this time. He's set up.
Better use that wall on your white mage. I wouldn't want to take the chance, but he doesn't. He's going to save it for chaos, but you got to get to chaos first. Kaiten is up fighting some unrunnable fires.
This race has been so crazy.
This be it. It is. Tiamat goes down.
Is Tiamat. He is.
How many lives does he have left?
Enough. He's
had enough.
5. Yeah.
Okay. That would have been the other concern, is if maybe you couldn't get everybody up. So we said before we might see divergences in strategies. We see it now after getting through that Tiamat fight, getting his revenge. Purity does not take a step without healing up. And I don't think we'll ever see Kaiten not do the same from now on.
The evil man, Batman's twin brother.
Here we go. Chaos floor, no encounters.
Who is this guy? This is a new boss. We haven't seen him yet. It's Garland 2.0.
2 hours, 42 minutes in, and the conversation with Garland begins. So gonna load up the invises, gonna do the wall on the first round. That's a hard-hitting ice. Really hard-hitting.
God, that hurts.
Okay, they say we're 45 seconds ahead on Purity. So any moment now, they'll see the battle against Chaos begin. We'll look up at Kaiten here as he gets even more unrunnables. Waters, he seems to be getting them every time I look up there.
Magius, you have missed one heck of a race.
So we're seeing Chaos with plenty of offensive magic. Will says he's looking forward to hearing the results before he sees them.
I guess we'll just cast from the restream now since things.
Got to feel for Purity here, doing everything possible to pull this out. Party member down. And you got to figure the strategy for bringing the black belt was to do a lot of melee damage, and hasn't been able to do that in the biggest time.
No, that black belt has been sleeping more than I like to sleep my own red mages.
And looks like Kaiten is about to get to Kraken. Take nothing for granted. But this does bring up a good point that sometimes it's not your A plan that's gonna get you there to the end. Sometimes it's your B plan. Sometimes you're all the way down to about I or G or something like that before you're looking for a plan to work with.
I think Purity is very happy that Slow 2 went on Derp and not Herb.
Well, but some things have happened now that are to no one's enjoyment.
Bill got darked. And so did Dan.
And this chaos has just been brutal, and getting that cure 4 not fun for anyone.
Oh boy, Cure 4 is the nightmare. So we reset. So he's at 200 damage.
Well, I'm
420. 420 YOLO.
I'm watching the timer click off here, and right about now, people should start seeing that things did not go well against Chaos. So, unfortunately for Purity, first Tiamat and now Chaos. And Kaiten gets to Tiamat.
Well, this is now Kaiten's race to lose. He doesn't know that yet, but
He loses Bill and Dan. But, well, like we said about for Purity, if you're going to lose 2, those were the 2 to lose. Your White Mage can help you recover.
I don't think he got a fast charge on Ace. If that had happened, this would
Tiamat
almost
goes
be
down.
guaranteed.
Tiamat
Nice.
is down. Oh, he didn't heal!
Oh god, is this a
Went on without
repeat?
healing.
Don't.
He is
don't,
higher health.
Don't spoil it. I'm not there yet.
I'm sorry.
It's just rock clothes. That's good.
Oh my. After what happened to him the last time.
No, Artea. Only Kaiten has 1 ribbon. They have looked. Kaiten has literally looked in almost every available chest. Purity found the slab and was in go mode and has not opened a chest except for the 2 by the Phantom.
Yeah, we did not see either runner open chests in the Air Shrine, the Mirage Tower, and the Sky Castle. Neither one of them was opening treasure chests there. They were already in go mode. So that was the biggest source of treasure that we didn't see. And Kaiten gonna rearrange party members, heal up, and gonna get his first look at Chaos.
Kaiten putting General Leo at the front of his party. Ace, not behaving, goes first. Does not take the temper or the fast.
So we have seen that this is not a friendly Chaos. Sar, happy that you worked that General Leo reference in.
Yes, that's what it looks like. If he had the blue clothes, it would be General Leo for sure.
So it's worth noting here against Chaos that his spells are not shuffled. Skills are shuffled. I say shuffled, I'm used to Z1 randomizer. But the skills have been randomized, the spells have not. So he's still got his full arsenal that he would normally in the game. And he could additionally have buffed stats. I'm going to let you call what just happened against Chaos so that I know I'm not spoiling it.
Dan is dead.
That wouldn't be the spoiler. Well, Zara's seen it, so I guess we're not too far ahead. So Chaos got the other Cure 4 off. That's his first time against Kaiten.
Ace made it up though. He hits the Cure 4, and then Ace comes back with the slam for 699. So
Terminated. I'm sorry.
Take that.
Spoiler, but I'm so excited for him.
God Lord, 1100 damage. GG to Kaiten.
What a hit. What a performance. Ladies and gentlemen, give that man a round of applause. That at almost 3 hours, just shy of it. That was well fought. It was well fought by both runners. And Purity has decided to go ahead and do the forfeit. Let's see if they're going to come over and join us.
See if we can get that quick player interview for the post-show analysis.
So, we saw a very beatable Temple of Fiends, but...
One time, too. That was so troll.
I know! Oh my god.
What even was that? Okay.
I think we could just about let these two talk to each other, and they would probably answer every question we have. So go for it, guys.
Oh god, I missed about it so bad.
Bulls with Touch of Death just put me completely into Artie strats to get any kind of a comeback, because I knew when I got out of Volcano, I did not have time to grind. I knew I was probably about half an hour behind Kaiten there, and I needed to just go evade stack, fight bosses at really low level. Like, I killed Tiamat 1 at, I think, level 17 or 18. And I just had it floored.
The amusing part about that is you were actually probably about even.
Really?
After Volcano. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Kaiten took some gambles that didn't pay off, and you guys basically got into Earth Cave at the same time.
Wow.
Okay. Then I am not even sure how he got into TOFR ahead of me, because I was flying at that point.
He didn't.
Oh. Wow. Well,
yeah, you definitely got in there, and then you had Tiamat.
Tiamat was not the thing that screwed me the hardest, I'll be honest. Tiamat was bad. The gas dragons were the worst thing. The frost dragons.
Oh god, don't remind me.
No ribbons!
I found a ribbon!
I think we can sum up that whole run with no ribbons, no pro rings.
Yeah, Kaiten found one in Sea Shrine. And that was it.
Chests, I skipped them. I probably should have looked for a ribbon. If I had one ribbon, I probably would have gotten that. Damn it.
So it was one of the interesting differences in routes we saw. Purity, when you were there, you went up to see the mermaids first, which put you in go mode, and Kaiten actually chose to go down and go for Kraken first.
Well, I figured I'd go for mermaids first because I had no ribbons anyway, and I had exit. So I'm like, well, I got exit. Might as well go see what I get up there. I need ribbons, I need pro rings, I need the slab. Turns out vanilla slab.
So, Kaiten, what was your
I was
thought
like, God, of all places.
What was your thought process in going Kraken first?
I thought Slap was going to be near Kraken, to be honest. Because if it was near Kraken, I would have gone go mode immediately.
Yeah.
At what point as this race is going on, in Purity, you get into TOFR first, you're struggling. Kaiten gets into TOFR, he starts to struggle. At what point are you guys like, what's going on?
I knew because my first jump through TOFR hit that Tiamat. I had a pretty good feeling what was going on, and the second I got to Chaos, I knew 100% what was going on, because that Chaos was a gigantic dick. He had probably double absorb and decent evade.
Actually, I risked double tempered my fighter against Chaos, so it paid off.
You found temper?
Yes.
Where the hell was it?
It was actually, I think it was at Alpha, if I remember correctly.
I actually think it was in Corneria.
Oh yeah, it was Corneria. I had first.
Oh my god, you're right. Temper was in Corneria. Fuck me.
You also could have. We were discussing. We didn't have a confirmation, but after you class changed, life was a possible
available for red mages. I think, yeah. I think I could have gone and gotten life. I did go get heal 3, which paid off almost. The big thing that screwed me was not being able to use my usual first round flag black belt strats. Having a fighter would have been amazing. That whole run would have been 1,000 times easier if that black belt was a fighter.
All right, guys. Well, I think there's one big thing we should touch on, and hopefully you were both already aware of this, but this is actually a best of 3 in the winners bracket.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so what's your... Let's put it this way. I won't ask you to give away your strategy adjustments going in, but what's one thing you hope to see different next time around versus this time?
No dying in Volcano. That's my new strategy. I'm going to not wipe in Volcano.
Yeah, just figure out how to route better. That's all I need to do.
Marsh Cave was not kind to you either, Purity. Let's be honest.
No, I know. I wiped twice in March too, didn't I? Once or twice?
It was. There was one time we were like, "Wait, what happened?" Like the stream was going so fast, and
my chat was keeping a counter. I had 34 runs in March Cave.
That's disgusting.
That is horrible.
Yeah, that is what put me so far behind you, was the RNG just taking the nail bat to my knees.
RNG was not good to me at TLFR. Let's put it that way.
Okay, yeah. If it was dicking you as hard as it was me, I feel somewhat better.
What happened to you at TLFR? Around the 2 hour and 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
Tiamat.
20? Tiamat. Tiamat wiped me the first time, then I think I had 4 or 5 wipes to dragons, 1 to Lich, because Nuke said hi, and literally just killed everyone.
I knew Lich was gonna nuke me, so that's why I had to prepare for armor already.
Yeah, I knew he was going to nuke me. I knew how much HP I needed, and then he rolled more than I thought he possibly could and said, "No, you all die."
Ouch!
Hat Brigade worked really, really well for how clean I was able to play that mid-game. I really loved this party. I am still not sold on the black belt. I might start going full arty party.
If I was black belt, I will wait for the later rounds, to be honest.
I hate black belt and later flags. I will not touch black belt after... You'll watch me. I will not touch black belt after round 3. Unless it's forced. I am not going anywhere near black belt after round 3.
Well, gentlemen, you have both given us quite the show tonight. Let's start with you, Purity, real fast. If people hit you up with a follow, which I certainly hope they will after the show we've seen tonight, what can they expect watching your stream?
More of this, more Zelda, maybe some reattempts at the Wing Commander 1 world record if I ever feel like being that masochistic. But let me tell you, all the RNG in this seed, you can crush that much troll into 6 seconds of Wing Commander.
All right, Kaiten, if people hit you up with a follow, and again, I certainly hope they will. You've given us a great show tonight. What can they expect following you?
A lot more randos. Definitely some Fantasy Star Force since I'm speedrunning that right now. And maybe some casual gaming once in a while.
Well, that is all I have. Joey, any final questions for our runners?
No, I was fortunate enough. I got to cast 2 of the races today, and both of them were absolutely crazy, insane, down to the wire races. They were super exciting to watch.
All right, well, gentlemen, let me give you a chance to get a final word in. Kaiten, you go ahead first. Any final things you'd like to say to our viewers?
Well, prepare for more craziness on the next match.
All right, Purity, how about you? Final thoughts?
I learned a lot from that scene. I am going to be a lot stronger going through the rest of this tournament from that.
All right, well, gentlemen, I think you're both going to be amazed when you watch the video of this. It was just such a competitive match the whole way. It was truly a pleasure to be on the commentary for this. I couldn't ask for a better first round match to a broadcast, and thank you both.
No problem.
Yeah, let's give another congratulations to Kaiten for his win. Also,
Thank you.
Sho Fukumachi won his race versus Biles, and
All
Buster won his race this morning against Artea. So all of you guys are 1-0. All the races I've heard have been unbelievable. So it's super exciting to see how competitive the tournament's been. Like that race.
Those guys better turn around that best of 3 or I'm losing money.
And with that, I bid you adieu. You guys have a
good
great night.
guys. Holy crap.
Night.
Well, thank you, everyone who tuned in for us tonight. Thank you to Dee Dee, who did our restreaming. Thank you to our tournament organizers who helped make all this happen. Thank you to everyone who viewed. If I'm forgetting anyone to thank specifically, I thank you generically because I want to thank everyone.
I'm gonna thank Trenton for the excellent co-casting. It was a great time, and we had a great show.
We had to think of a lot of things to say and all that, but we got through it. And I'll certainly be looking forward to watching the next match between you guys, whether I'm on commentary or not. Thank you also to Randomizer Mania for hosting tonight's race.
See ya.
So you guys know there's a race tomorrow at 9 between Joker and Minochi, and there's one at 10, Shy Alicia versus Green Cleric. And on this channel, Randomizer 2 and Speed Gaming 1. So make sure you guys tune in for that action.
Shy, you'd better win.
Please do.
You guys have a good night.
I think we've covered all the ground we can. So again, we'll say thank you to everyone's participation, including those of you who just watched, and we'll bid you good night.